I have a really, really serious question because I know that, some people out there may want to know this.
Yes.
Kristen doesn't have to deal with this because she is naturally blessed, but can you work out to the point where you get a butt?
I was not expecting you
I'm
to
just
say
listening.
that.
Me either. I was
I'm
like,
asking
oh.
for
I
a
was like, oh
friend.
my God. All right. Hi, guys. Welcome back to another episode of Best Friends with Benefits. We have someone so special for you today. I'm so excited to have her on. It is the amazing Tanysha. She's a soul cycle instructor. She's a model. She's the best. She's gorgeous. Look at her. She is shining bright like a diamond all the time.
Oh my
And
God.
she's going to be dropping gems for us today.
Listen, and we've wanted to have this fitness slash body image slash everything episode for so long, and I'm so excited that we have you on today's episode because you are so inspirational. I mean, this woman has a billboard. Can I just this woman has a billboard.
She's in like every soul cycle email I open. I'm like,
Stop
hello again.
Stop it. Go on.
Well, speaking of soul, I mean, that's how I met you. And from the moment I met you and you in your class, I was just like, I'm in love with this woman and she's so inspiring. And I just want to know, like, what do you love about soul? Like, what has you teach there? And I mean, you're like the rock star of Soul Cycle.
I think, thank you for saying that. There are so many rock stars there that even for myself, I've learned from and continue to learn from. I think the thing that I love most about Soul is 1000% the people. Like these relationships that you make, you never know who you are going to, who you're going to meet. You know, you don't know who's in the room. You don't know their experience, their life experience, the things, and even the experience for the day. I mean, some people go through so much to even just physically be present. And it's inspiring when people feel comfortable enough to share their stories with you, and you put them in a space and at ease enough to open up and share. You know, because it's like and it goes both ways, like for me and for the people who show up. So people
so
are
true.
hands down.
I mean, when I went through my breakup a couple of years ago, I was going to Soul every single day, and I was going to your class like in the morning at like 6:45 or 5:45 in the morning. And it's just a class that, I mean, you laugh in, you cry in. I mean, I was in the best shape of my life back then. And you just build a relationship with the people there. And I mean, I remember sharing about my relationship, and then like I was displaced for a year, and you're like, girl, save me all your money and buy a Chanel bag or something.
Right.
I was just like, I love this girl. Like, you are such a light, and it's so helpful for people that, I mean, I think Soul does attract people that are maybe going through something, or, you know, it's such a way of, and there's such a beauty in the messages that you say in the classes.
Yeah, and just setting the stage for anybody that maybe you've seen Soul Cycle, but you haven't experienced the class. Like I've gone to a couple of classes, not as hardcore as Chris, but she's invited me as a guest a few times, and it's like there's no experience like it. It's partly exercise, but while the instructors are actually telling you what to do, there's motivational speaking in it. The way they pick the music, you're going through a whole emotional like journey with them. So being a Soul Cycle instructor really takes like a special type of human being to really be able to like inspire a whole room of people. And you could be on the bike and you crying about something that happened. You're just like, that's how I'm gonna ride this bike with my emotions. And it's just such a great experience. I definitely recommend for anybody looking for something, because it's that thing, right? Like you're not going to be motivated to work out if you hate the workout. Like let's just keep it real. Like you have to find something that really speaks to you. And Soul Cycle, like being part like motivational, but then also you have like, you know, the cool room. It's completely dark So you're not like looking at the next person and like, oh, they're faster than me. It's such a great experience.
It's so true. And it's also the connection with the person. Like I remember who else is waking up at 5:45? I'm like, I want to be with Tanysha. I'm getting up. Like that would motivate me to see you too.
100%. 100. I mean, that's when people ask me, I was never a morning person. But it's that accountability to your team, right? So your team is going to be present. And so no matter whether I got 1 hour of sleep, sometimes I was showing up on 45 minutes of sleep, depending on like if I, stress, couldn't, whatever's going on. And you could say, I didn't sleep well, I'm tired, I'm going to stay home and call out. But there's that level of accountability to your team and the people who are constantly showing up for you. And so it honestly is like a way of life, because it's kind of like, I always say it in class, how you do anything is how you do all things. And so when you have that, I don't know if that's like kind of like your standard, right? To show up for the people that show up for you, then you start to become impeccable with that standard of how you operate, whether you're at a workout class or whether you are, showing up for a meeting that you said you would be there for at that time, So it starts to become like who you are and your character.
Oh, you better drop it.
Yeah, I'll give me the chills.
This is so like this woman on a billboard. Can we flex for a second? What was that like? Did your people take a picture with it? Like, talk a little bit about that. Like, what was that like?
It was so crazy, and honestly, I'm so honored and proud of the billboard. I live not too far from the massive one in Tribeca, and so it's still, when I pass it, I pass it going to West Village, like I'll pass it again tonight, and it's still very surreal to see it, because I had someone message me, a writer friend, who she messaged me and she was like, can we just take a second? She's like, do you remember? And this was just like maybe last week, she messaged me and she's like, do you remember last year when you were like trying to figure out like what you were going to do next, how, like how you're going to make all of this work, and like, and I think it's just constantly staying true to who you are. So having the billboard up it's incredible and it's amazing, but I think it is a testament to consistency in who you are as a person, what your product is, whatever it is, and so I'm not the only, obviously we have 400 SoulCycle instructors. The moves that we do in class are the same. Sometimes you might hear the same words or phrases, and so but I think there is something to be said for everybody's individuality, and there being space for everyone to have moments to shine, and so this is my moment and I'm living inside of it and embracing it, and I think
this is our
I think it's easy to there's a balance of being humble and
girl, you deserve it. Come on,
right?
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like recognizing like this is a culmination of like years and years and years and years of work and years and years and years of no's.
Right.
So
beautiful.
Yeah. So
that is so beautiful.
Thank you.
You're more
so
humble
much.
than me, child, because I would be so obnoxious. Kristen, if we had a billboard,
I would be the worst.
We would be posting in front of it like,
hey, did you see my billboard today? It's still up. Hello. I'd be taking selfies with it.
Like, do you recognize the person? Yeah, that's me.
That's me.
Oh my God.
Sure. Okay, so we really want to get to body goals, like about like how to stay consistent, because you talk a lot about consistency, but I mean, during the pandemic and all of that all went out the window, because I'm like, well, you only see me from here up, so all this down here, it's a mess. But how do you keep that mindset even when something, like a pandemic will happen? How do you keep that consistency and, like you were saying, building of your character to be impeccable all the time and not give up on your body goals?
I think depending on what your body goals are, you know, some people don't show up to any workout for the fitness of it, right? So some people are there for the distraction, a break from their family, their kids, a job, their desk, you know, whatever it is. And so I think the why is really important for every person, and understanding that you might be in the same space, but your reason for being there might vary from person to person, and even individually might vary from day to day, you know. So maybe today you're coming to get a workout, and then the next day you're just like, I just need to get away from my desk. You know what I mean? Like, it's like going into a store. Like, maybe you pop into the store because you actually need something. And then another day you just browsing, you're on a lunch break. You just want to move your legs, you know? So I think your why on any given day is really going to be your driving force. So when you are feeling like you're in a slump, I think going back to why you want to move your body is really important. And a lot of times for me, the movement, I go back to gratitude, right? Like, there are so many people who don't have the opportunity to move arms, legs, heart, you know, like, and I sometimes get this vision and like a mental imagery of possibly being in a hospital and wishing I could ski, or wishing I could, you know, forget my mask and run back from the elevator to grab it. Like, there's just those little things that you don't even think about, you know, like something that rolls under the sofa and you're like, oh, you got to bend down, and you got all these mechanics that start to play in to you doing something as simple as getting the remote control that fell, or the battery that rolled after the remote control fell on the floor. You know, like little things like that. You just don't even think about it. You just go and do it. During the pandemic, I had a injury to my neck. It wasn't a new injury. Just it kind of happened over time and manifested during that time period. And I couldn't move my neck at all, right to left. Lying down, I had to essentially roll over and push my body up. So I couldn't sit up. And so in that moment, I was like, oh, wow, I don't even think I've ever thought about having to sit up. Like,
wow,
you get up in the middle of the night and you just instinctively get up. And this was like, I had to maneuver in a way. And it just really made me appreciate my body, you know? So I think if you have goals of weight loss, if you have goals of just staying consistent with movement in general, for me, it's gratitude is my why and my moving force. So everyone's got to find their why, you know, like some people, they don't stop smoking until it's like, okay, well, you're going to die, or you're going to lose this lung, or now you have grandkids. And so, you know what I mean? So people, the why is very personal and can definitely vary day to day, person to person. But I think gratitude is always a good place if you are struggling with a why for your consistency and your motivation. There is somebody that would love to have those problems, right? Like, they would love to just choose not to move their body. They would love that option. And so you just don't want to wait until you can't, you know, to be like, I really should have, you know, I wish I would have taken that dance class. I wish I would have for that run. I wish I would have, you know, tried to take that hike. And, you know, just, it's like, well, you don't want to wait until you can't do it to then lament on all the moments you could have actually done it.
Oh my God.
Think about that. That is not what I was expecting you to say, but
no. And you know what? It's so great. Noni, remember how we were talking about this and you were like, oh, you know, what do you do if you're going to be on a red carpet, or if you're getting married? Like, that usually always is a why for people to like get in shape. But what you just said, it's like you would be able to then have that all the time, not just for like a special event or for just trying to have a quick fix of trying to get your body in shape, but it's like a daily why. Like, wow, I'm grateful I can actually move my legs today and I'm going to go for a run.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's always a why. That's really, really great. And that's kind of where I am now. As Kristen was saying, like, my whole life, I've always had a reason to diet. I've always like, I got to get ready for a music video. I got to get ready for this, or I got to get ready for this. And now that I'm in my 40s, for the first time, I'm getting in shape for me. Like, I'm getting in shape. And it's not like I'm on a diet. It's what do I eat? Like, what is my diet?
Right.
It's not like a fad or like, because when I hear diet, usually the connotation of diet is like the same thing as a New Year's resolution. Like you already know it's something that you can break.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But right now,
or it's restrictive,
or it's restrictive, or I'm depriving myself. But now I
Yeah.
relate to it like my body doesn't react well to gluten, so I'm not going to do that. Or sugar, you know, causes me to be down, like go up and down, and it's like, what does my body not react to versus this is going to make me fat and da 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 da. And I think doubling down on thinking about that why and coming from a place of gratitude is something that you can be so consistent with. It's not I did the wedding, I fit into that dress and now I can do what I want, or you know, I'm depriving myself and da 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 da. And I think that's so, so beautiful. I'd like to unpack a little bit a healthy in the age of social media, right, where we have like there's always a trend for what our bodies are supposed to look like. And right now, you know, in the 90s it was you got to be skinny like Kate Moss, and then it was Pamela Anderson, big boobs, little butt. Now it's like you got to have everything to pound. And what I really found was like you got to think of a healthy way to pick what your body goals was. Because if I can tell you guys how I was torturing myself, my body goal is somebody that's not even the same shape as me, but I would have them like on my refrigerator, and just so I'm just like, this is what I want to look like, but it was never going to happen, not without surgery. So my body goal was Creisha Turner. She's like an Instagram influencer singer. Look at this. How in the hell?
Creisha
I don't care how many sit-ups and squats, it's not happening. But what I really found was I either gotta like either have a body goal of yourself, like, you know, right now it's like my wedding dress, right? I was so happy. It wasn't even the thinnest that I've ever been, but it's like that was my body. Or you could have a body goal where it's like someone that's a similar build. Like I have no hips, like very athletic build. But there's nothing wrong with that. You know, it's just like picking someone that has a similar hashtag team no hips. Picking someone that's a similar body type. But I wonder, like, what is your opinion of that, and what would you suggest?
You know, it's funny. When I'm scrolling through Instagram and I have people that I follow, I'm never looking at their body as a goal of mine. Do you know what I mean? Like that has never crossed my mind to want that person's body. I'm like, wow, you're so in shape. I'm more looking at what are you doing to achieve your body. But that's not necessarily, your body is not my goal. I'm interested in how you're maintaining your health and wellness and your fitness, right? So if you've got some crazy abs, I'm trying to like understand what is your process of staying on it. Like, are you doing planks? Are you doing mountain climbers? Are you like, I'm trying to look at your methodology and less of your end product, because your end product is your end product. Right now, I have like slightly elevated A1C, right? And so I weigh 140 pounds. I'm 5'2.5". Like I'm not thin, but I'm not thick, but also because of my sugar, like not being as stable as it ought to be, that is also causing me to keep on some pounds, right? So it's like, you have to like understand get all your labs done, understand what's happening with your body. Do you have like, get a full workup? Like maybe there's some underlying thyroid issue. Maybe there's some underlying, you know, like there might be like little things that are happening. And so you're doing this work and going on this yo-yo, and you might be like actually messing with your body, and like you're not reaching the goals because there's so much that's happening. You know, my mom is like, I'm going vegan now. And I'm like, okay, what you eating? You know, and it's all like carbohydrates, you know? And so it's
I was
like,
gonna say pasta.
right. You know, so it's like, you have to like understand like what food does to the body in general. one of the books that I read that was really helpful for me and this is how like everyone's association with food and their bodies varies. But for me, it was just, I wanted to understand what happens when I eat foods, right? And so understanding how to eat maybe in an order, like traffic jamming, you know, eating light to heavy and like how the digestion works. So it's like, you just, if you want a quick fix, like you will have that yo-yo. And as you yo-yo, you're actually like, it's detrimental to the organs to ask them to like bounce up and down that way. Like forget like what the aesthetics are doing, right? Your skin stretching, contracting, going back and forth. The internal part of you is like doing the same yo-yoing, you know, and it's like whiplash. It's just like, pick one. Like, what we doing over here? I can't. And so I think that if you understand, the book that I read was Kimberly Snyder, the glowing detox, the beauty detox solution. And she just gave, it was like a great starter to understanding like food and its relation to the body when you eat these types of food, what happens in the body. And then, you know, she's got a ton of recipes in there. Most of them are like more vegan based, but obviously it's a great starter for understanding. So I think when I am looking, I'm not looking to see anybody else's body as my personal goal. I'm looking to see more of their methodology. I think it's dangerous to have body goals that don't belong to you, right? So if your personal goal is to maybe take some inches off of your waist, if your personal goal is to maybe plump your booty up more, right? Like whatever but it should be a goal of yours, not of, because you don't know what they're doing, right? And they might have this body and like, we have no idea, like Krisha Turner's body is incredible, but we honestly have no idea what her genetics are, what her parents look like. You know what I mean? Like her parents might just be two fairly thinner people in general like that. You know, you have these people that are like look at Snoop Dogg, and look at Snoop's dad. They're just, that's their body type, you know? So I think understanding what your personal goals are, it's almost like asking somebody for help and you haven't actually sought through what you want. It's like, what do you think I should do? Should I go right? Should I go left? And it's like, well, have you thought about what you want to do? Do you tell me what you want to do first? And then like, let's work from there. So I think it's definitely important to set your own goal, your personal goal. I would like to adjust this, or this on me. And then like be very clear what you want. I want to lose inches, or I want to lift this, or you know what I mean? Like, what is your personal goal versus just looking at a photo and saying, oh my God, I want these abs, or like, I want to have, I want those arms. And it's just like, and then I think, I was just going to say one last thing. I think the other part with that is, again, going back to the why, right? Like, do you actually not like your abs, or does society tell you that this is not attractive, right? Because in other countries, they don't want frail, stick thin women. That's not attractive. So the standards of beauty vary from place to place, culture to culture. And so I think it's just understanding, like, you know, unpacking that, like, okay, I don't like my arms because, like, fill in your blank. I don't like my butt because, and then be honest with the why, and then go from there. If you don't like it because your partner has made comments about it, then like, you need to unpack that. If you don't like it because it used to be higher and like now things have dropped or shifted, okay, you start from there. If you don't like it because all of your friends have this body and you have that, and it's like, okay, well, you need to like really get clear on what you want to fix, and then the why you don't like it, why you have the problem with it, right? Like, because a lot of times it's just, there's more, like it
Ooh, people, look at that. Look at the motivation. Look at but you said something too in there, where you were saying basically you look at the methodology and not the results of it, right? And not like you want that. And when you said that, immediately what rung to me, because we're such a instant gratification, like, I want it, I'm gonna go and get surgery and I can have it and I don't have to, is I remember this saying or this meme, and it said, everybody wants to live like Diddy, but nobody wants to do the work, the same amount of work that it took to get there. It's like, and I liken it to that. It's like, what was the methodology? What hard work went into that for them to get to it, as opposed to just, I just want to look like that, or I just want to
Yep.
be rich, or I just want to
Right.
have this amount of power. It's like, you're not seeing them at 2 o'clock in the morning, taking conference
Right.
calls and,
Right.
international calls, and all the amount of grind, the years of grind and decades to get to where he is. But I think that that's a really,
Iceberg.
really great point.
Yeah,
That
and I think,
iceberg analogy.
yeah, go ahead. What?
No, I was just saying that it's like the iceberg analogy, where you seeing the top layer, the tip, and you don't see all that's underneath that. You know what I mean? Yeah.
Listen.
Yeah, and I love, just to point to what you were saying too, not only is it the methodology, but it's also the mindset. Like it's the being grateful, it's the why. It's like your vision of yourself, like accepting yourself fully now as you are, and even not comparing yourself to the way you looked when you were 25, because in your 40s, things are falling in places you didn't think they could fall. And you're just like, you got to give yourself some grace with that and just be like, okay, I'm not 18 anymore, and maybe I do have to work a little bit harder now, but I'm not going to beat
Right.
myself up about it.
Right. 100%. Agree.
So great.
So good. And so I love what you were saying about like getting to know your body, because we did cover this in a past episode of giving yourself grace. Is really like realizing there's no real one size fit all diet. There's no one size fit all anything, but seeing how your body reacts is really, really important. That's great to hear from a trainer, right? I'm wondering though, if somebody is like at home, they have not been active all pandemic, but they're just like, things is opening up again, I need to get myself together. What's a good way to like start to get back into the groove of working out?
Bring that puppy in. Bring him in.
I know. He's like, he's getting into stuff. I'm like, look, don't start. I think a good way to get back in the groove is get a buddy. The buddy system is always a good thing. Get a buddy, and also get out of the house if you can, right? So start because since so many of us are already like stuck at home, we're doing all of the workouts at home, whether we've got equipment, whether we're on Zooms, like whatever it is, we're doing all of it from the house. So get out of the house.
Look at that beautiful creature.
Get out of the house and get a buddy. All right. So if you get a buddy and you end up, going for a walk, it doesn't have to be, I think, start small. Start small and start with something that's attainable. So maybe just walking is your thing, right? And you're like, you know what? We're going to go for a 30-minute walk, and block it out on your calendar. That's the best thing. And like have it like almost like a reoccurring meeting, right, with yourself. And same thing with your friend. Because a lot of times, I would say, one, buddy up. Accountability is always a good way. Get out of your house, like move, get fresh air, see some stuff, like just move, get out of those walls that you are stuck in and seeing all the time. And then I think, there was one other thing that came to me, and I just lost it for a second. Start small, buddy up. Those are the two. There was something else. It'll come back to me, but I would definitely just start there. Small motion is better than no motion.
Start small. Yeah. Start small. Yes. Really, really good. So just to end it, I have a really, really serious question, because I know that, some people out there may want to know this.
Yes.
Kristen doesn't have to deal with this because she is naturally blessed, but can you work out to the point where you get a butt?
I was not expecting you.
I'm
to
just
say
listening.
That.
Me either. I was like,
I'm asking for a friend.
Oh my god! I was starting to get turned.
I'm asking for a friend.
I was like, I was not expecting that, and the answer is 1,000%. Right? So 1,000%, you can work out, but it goes in both ways, right? You could work out to get a butt, and then you could work out so much that you lose your butt. So it honestly, it's always going to be a combination of your diet and what you are doing. Like, so it's muscles, right? So you ever watch people when they're like about to get on a show or a photo shoot or something. And they're like, hold on, let me drop down and do some push-ups real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like
all the time.
you got to get the muscles actually moving and working if you're gonna build it up. It's no different than someone getting pumped up to look good in a photo. You have to pump up those muscles, essentially, by strength training and adding, right, resistance to them. So if you aren't strength training, you're going to lose that booty. So if everyone who is like always just doing cardio, you will start to lose, you're losing some fat, but also,
we're going to keep steering the course with them squats.
That's not what happened to me in the quarantine. All that fat went to my butt and my thighs.
Yeah.
So
I'm glad that trend is in right now.
Listen, yeah, just have some gratitude, Kristen.
Yeah, right. Right. Exactly. I'm like, oh, we gotta plump it up a little bit. But yeah, you definitely can get a booty by working out. But you have to strength train.
This is good news.
There you go.
Yeah, strength training. I'm just going to steer the course.
Yeah.
I'm doing the squats.
Do those squats, girl.
I'm seeing it poke out a little bit, but I'm gonna steer the course.
And consistency. You gotta stay consistent.
No, that's great. And I wanted to bring that up too, before you go, because a lot of people, and I have fallen victim to this, especially when it's like I'm working out for something, right? Is getting discouraged when we don't see the scale go down. And like, what is on average, if someone's working out to lose weight, sometimes you can work out for weeks and weeks and there's so much going on with your body. And you're the expert, I'll let you speak to that. But what is like the amount of consistency before people start to see results? Because a lot of the times it's like weeks, people get discouraged and they stop.
I mean, honestly, there is no like fail proof, right? Because there's so many factors that are coming into play. Like you have people that, for example, people who stand up a lot all day, or they pace while they're doing things, right? They're naturally burning calories that they don't even think about. People who walk places, people who walk the stairs versus taking the elevator. So there's so many little things that come into play. There are also people that are like, oh no, I don't even, it wasn't that much. And it's like, I just had a coffee, and then it's coffee, but it's like creamer. I don't put sugar in it, but they use creamer, and the creamer has tons of sugar. Milk itself has sugar in it. So do you know what I mean? It's like, so there's all these like little sneaky ways, like bread has sugar in it. Peanut butter sometimes, if you don't watch the labels, has sugar in it. So I think it's definitely like somebody could say, I've been working out, I've been eating well. Write it down. Write it down. Write it
That's
down.
Good.
Really?
You gotta
check it. Every label.
Yes, you have to write things down. Even like when I was gonna say before, the buddy system and starting slow. The other part is writing it down. Like record your time, block out your time, record your food, record the workouts that you're actually doing, so you can look back and see what you actually did. Because people always say it wasn't even that much. It's like, well, how much is not that much? It wasn't, I don't even eat snacks like that. And it's like, okay, well, so you had that king size bag of M&Ms that one time because you got hungry. And then, so you just like, you start to like, but it was that one time, right? But then when you start to factor in all the other things, oh, well, I had dinner on Saturday night. Okay, great. All of these things are fine. But again, what are your goals? What are your needs? And then this is how, like, when you record it, you can use MyFitnessPal, you can use a notepad. There's so many different ways to kind of track what you're doing, how you're moving your body, how many calories you're burning. And I personally I go more based on how I feel and inches, but the scale is very deceptive. I mean, 1 to 2 pounds is the general rule of thumb to safely lose weight per week. Beyond that, you have the ability to yo-yo, and also 1 to 2 true pounds, because you can drop water, you can go to the bathroom, and your weight can fluctuate just in those moments. So 1 to 2 pounds is like a solid 1 to 2 a week is like more, it's safe and it's accurate, like an adjustment for your body, and your hormone levels, all the things. So I don't really get crazy. I think it's more of like consistent, and like give yourself like like everything else, 30, 60, 90 days. You know, you don't show up to a new job and like think that you're gonna like change things, like, but have like a lot of companies will give you a 30, 60, 90-day plan, right? And you have goals to be met every set of those. And so you can make a 30, 60, 90-day plan for yourself, right? Like maybe where you want to see. Sometimes taking photographs is always a good way to like track what you might not be seeing on the scale might actually be visible in photographs, and you're looking at yourself day to day, and you may not see it, but maybe every 10 days take that photo, right? Every 15, maybe even every 30, and then you can kind of start looking like what you looked like 15 days in, then 15 days in, then 15 days in. And so sometimes that is helpful for people to see what the scale doesn't show.
Right.
If you've got, I don't know if you guys did this during the pandemic, like when we really were kind of like locked down, not going anywhere. But it got to a point where I was like, all right, Tanysha, we need to put structured pants on, because we need to just check in. Like, where are we? And
that's such a good point.
I had to throw out all my pants.
That was like, I was like, okay, let's put on some structured pants today. Let's check in with ourselves. Like, where are we? And some of my structured pants don't fit anymore, which is fine. Because I feel good and I'm happy, and like, that's it. So I would say give it time. Give yourself a 30, 60, 90-day plan. Don't give up before then, right? Like, it's like anything else. You got to give it some time to like work through. Don't expect to see results in a week or even 2 weeks. Like, you might, but don't expect it. Say, this is my plan and I'm going to stick to it. I'm going to finish what I started. Give it 30, 60, 90 days.
Awesome. All right. Well, I know everyone listening is dying to find out where they can find you, whether it's for SoulCycle classes or your own personal training. So tell us your Instagram, where can everybody find you to take some classes with you?
I am at Tanysha, Tanysha, Renee, Renee _ on Instagram. And my SoulCycle schedule is up. Unfortunately, Hoboken is temporarily closing. So I'll be subbing here and there. But and then I'll be putting up a website on the Talent Hack. So you can find me on there as well. And I do Zooms and personal training. Yeah. So
follow her. This woman is on a billboard.
Look at her. Take classes. She's gorgeous.
We out here doing all the things.
We are. This was amazing.
Thank you so much.
It was so good to catch up with you guys. Thank you guys for having me.
Thank you guys so much for listening and watching. I hope you got some gems out of that. I know that I did.
I did too.
Say the thing with the YouTube.
Don't forget to follow us on YouTube, Instagram, and guess what, guys? We're going to have merch coming soon, so get excited.